on the articles of impeachment, insisting the president did absolutely nothing wrong. Plus, Trump's plans to skip town as the Senate trial gets underway.
Global health alert. New cases of a mysterious virus reported. The growing efforts at the airports to stop it from entering the U.S. The impact on travel around the world.
The fears through all of Asia are growing quickly, and we witnessed it. Passengers from Wuhan are being monitored.
What the CDC says about how it spreads.
Digging out the massive winter storm that created hazardous conditions on the roads, cars overturned, others going nowhere, blinding snow, a ground blizzard, and now get ready for the deep freeze.
And caught on camera, look at this heroic rescue. The video showing a jet skier colliding with this boat and this young man springing into action.
Took my phone out, threw the hat off, and dove down in the water.
The message this morning from the man he saved.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Hello, good morning. As we come on the air, we have new video of Britain's Queen Elizabeth heading into church on this morning after a history-making announcement.
On Saturday, the Queen releasing the news. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan are making a radical break, ceasing to be working members of the royal family.
The decision stunning the royal family and many in England, but the Queen did have warm words for the breakaway royals. We begin our coverage this morning with ABC's Lama Hassan, who is outside Buckingham Palace. Good morning to you, Lama.
Yeah, good morning to you, Eva. It is a new dawn here, a huge day for the royal family, as Harry and Meghan will no longer be representing the Queen in any capacity. They are now free to earn a living as they embark on a new life together, spending most of their time in North America.
This morning, the Queen stepping out for the first time since striking a deal with Harry and Meghan, seen heading to church in Sandringham. The deal confirming Prince Harry and his wife Meghan are stepping back from all royal duties. After days of negotiations, the Queen issued a warm and personal statement last night, saying she recognizes, quote, the challenges they've experienced as a result of intense scrutiny over the last 2 years, and that she supports their wish for a more independent life. However, she has rejected their idea of being part-time royals. The palace confirming the couple will no longer represent Her Majesty, nor will they use their Royal Highness titles, but will still be known as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They will also no longer receive public funds and are now free to earn a living. But such independence comes at a cost. Harry and Meghan have pledged to return $3 million in public funds that was spent on refurbishing their Windsor home, Frogmore Cottage. And Harry will no longer hold on to his honorary military titles or his Commonwealth Youth Ambassador role.
The Prince of Wales will continue to privately fund them through his own money until they're established and set up deals. And these deals, these commercial ventures, which they haven't struck any yet apparently, will have to really be respectful to both the monarchy and to the Queen.
The Queen publicly thanking the couple for their work, saying, Harry, Meghan and Archie will always be much-loved members of my family, giving a special mention to Meghan, saying, I am particularly proud of how Meghan has so quickly become one of the family.
She sympathises with them as a grandmother, but ultimately, for the Queen, who wears the crown, has to make tough decisions, and it is to defend the institution of monarchy above all else.
Palace sources also revealing that Harry and Meghan now plan to spend the majority of their time in North America, but will keep Frogmore Cottage as their UK residence, where they will now pay rent to Her Majesty, who owns the property.
Well, sources tell ABC News that the couple will be transitioning into this new role this coming spring, so we may very well see them carrying out some royal duties before then. One caveat, the Sussexes and senior members of the royal family have agreed to review this new arrangement in a year's time. Eva.
And thanks to Lama. Joining us now is ABC News royal contributor Victoria Murphy. Thank you for joining us. First, let's walk us through what we know about this agreement right now. Titles, money, where will they live? What will they do?
Hi there. Hi. Absolutely seismic change for Prince Harry and Meghan and the British royal family today. They will no longer be working royals. There will be no more official visits from Spring on behalf of the Queen. They will no longer be receiving any public funds, and they will pay back the public funds already spent renovating their official residence. They will retain, but crucially not use, their titles, his and her Royal Highness. And Harry will be stepping back from his roles as Commonwealth Youth Ambassador and also from his honorary military appointments. And in exchange, they will get what it seems is most important to them, which is their freedom. They will be able to split their time between the UK and North America, and also to run their foundation as they wish.
Now, Victoria, how big of a deal is this? Have we ever seen something like this before with the royal family?
We've never seen anything like this before. This is a huge deal. This couple have been so unhappy, and this is the reason that they have decided to step back. It was made very clear in the Queen's statement a week ago that the rest of the family wanted them to remain as working royals, but they have made this decision. And I think there will be a lot of sadness because Harry has been such a popular member of the royal family his whole life. He and Meghan were really galvanizing a young audience on the world stage. But this is a decision that they have made that's a very personal decision about their happiness.
You mentioned Harry and Meghan have to repay the $3.1 million they spent to refurbish their home. Do they have that kind of cash on hand? What do we know about how they will actually make a living?
Yeah, we believe that they do. I mean, Harry has inheritance and Meghan obviously earned a very good living as an actress on Suits. We also understand that they are still going to receive some money from Prince Charles, his private income. And of course, the sky is the limit when it comes to earning money because they are two hugely high-profile individuals, and I'm sure people will be offering them amazing deals. However, what they have said is that they will only take things that still respect the integrity of the Queen and the values that she upholds. So it's clear that they are still very much thinking of the family in their future roles.
All right, Victoria Morphy for us in London this morning. And as Lama mentioned, they will revisit this in a year. So this could all still change, or it could stay the same.
Interesting, Harry's giving up his military titles as well. Sounds like that was a pretty big concession at the end of the day. All right, Eva, thank you. We do want to turn now to our other top story, the impeachment showdown and President Trump's Senate trial this week. A new legal filing now revealing how the president's lawyers plan to respond to those articles of impeachment. ABC's David Wright has the details from West Palm Beach, Florida. David, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. The president may be spending a quiet weekend here in Florida, but back in Washington, the lawyers are working overtime on both sides. House impeachment managers have filed their brief, essentially laying out their case, and the president's lawyers have filed their first formal response to the charges. Until now, President Trump has made no secret what he thinks of the impeachment process.
They call it the impeachment hoax. The impeachment hoax. It's a hoax.
The White House has offered little guidance how it'll respond to the substance. Mystery solved. This weekend, Trump's legal team fired off this 6-page letter under the heading, Answer of President Donald J. Trump, insisting the president did absolutely nothing wrong and calling the Democrats' articles of impeachment constitutionally invalid on their face. Quote, they failed to allege any crime or violation of law whatsoever, let alone high crimes and misdemeanors. The letter also takes issue with the General Accounting Office's determination that the withholding of hundreds of millions of dollars in congressionally approved military aid to Ukraine was illegal. Trump's lawyers described the effort to remove him from office as dangerous.
I think it would create a terrible, terrible precedent for future presidents if we were to weaponize the impeachment provisions.
House managers take issue with what they call the astounding claim that pressuring Ukraine to interfere in our election is the president's way of fighting corruption. It is not, they insist. Rather, it is corruption itself, naked, unapologetic, and insidious.
President Trump thus warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States.
President Trump doesn't even plan to be in the country when the Senate trial begins. He's headed to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Tomorrow, the president's lawyers file their formal response to the House managers' brief, and then the House managers get a chance to respond to that by noon on Tuesday. And then at 1 o'clock, presumably, the main part of the trial begins. Dan?
David Wright reporting in from Florida. David, thank you. Let's bring in ABC's chief anchor, George Stephanopoulos, who will be hosting this week later this morning. George, good morning to you. So one of the big unanswered questions heading into the trial is, will there be witnesses? Where does that stand right now?
It's about the biggest unanswered question right now. We don't know is the easy answer. We know there's going to be a vote on whether or not to have witnesses at some point in the trial, and we know the Democrats are going to try to force one right at the start on Tuesday in a fight over the rules. So far, it takes 51 votes to have witnesses. So far, at least four Republicans have said they're open to it. If all of them actually voted for witnesses, then indeed you would have them. Who would be called, when they would be called, whether both sides would call witnesses, still wide open. And we just don't know if after these first couple of weeks of arguments, those senators will actually pull the trigger and say, yes, we need witnesses, or they can, in the alternative, say, we've heard enough.
And in some cases, with John Bolton, for example, if he's called, we don't even know what he would say. So let me ask, we just saw the news this morning is that we've seen the response from Trump's legal team. They're calling these charges, quote, brazen and unlawful. From the standpoint of Trump and the Republicans, so what's the best case scenario for this trial? Keep it short, keep it decisive?
No question about that. That's exactly what they want. Their big hope is that this all gets done very quickly, much more quickly than the Clinton impeachment trial, and the president can come to the well of the House on February 4th, give his State of the Union after being acquitted by the Senate. That's the kind of timeline that Mitch McConnell is working on right now, even though he hasn't released the actual resolution. We'll see if that's possible. There could be fights, as I said, over witnesses. In fact, I think Tuesday, you're not even going to get to arguments. I think that's going to be a day-long fight over the terms of the resolution, what the timetable is going to look like, what the rules will be.
So we won't see opening arguments, perhaps. So let's talk about it from the other standpoint now. You have on your show this morning one of the top managers, the members of the House who's going to come over and essentially prosecute the case, Congressman Adam Schiff. From the Democrats' standpoint, given that the outcome is likely predetermined, it's likely that they don't have the votes to convict and remove, what would be a win?
I think the Democrats have already answered that question, saying that, listen, we're not saying this is necessarily a political win for us, but we feel it was our duty to do it. But I think you can lay out a couple of possibilities. Number one, do they bring out witnesses that fill out their case and damage the president politically? I think the other possibility would be, can they find 1, 2, 3 Republicans, even if they're not going to get those 67 to convict, 1, 2, or 3 Republicans that would lead to a majority who thought you should convict? I think that would be a significant political victory for the Democrats.
George, thank you very much. I want to remind everybody, George has a big show this morning. He's got that exclusive interview with Congressman Adam Schiff, the lead House impeachment manager. Plus, he will go one-on-one with Alan Dershowitz, who you saw in David Wright's piece. He has joined President Trump's defense team. That's all coming up later this morning right here on ABC on This Week. And do not forget, George will be leading our live team coverage of the impeachment trial when it resumes Tuesday, 1 Eastern. George, thank you again. Eva, over to you.
Well, now to the global concern about a new mystery virus coming out of China. We're hearing about new cases of the virus. U.S. officials are now screening some travelers at 3 major airports. ABC's Stephanie Ramos is here with the latest. Good morning to you, Stephanie.
Eva, good morning. Officials this morning say there are new cases of the deadly mystery virus that emerged overseas, and this is why the CDC is monitoring it so closely here at home. This morning, the health crisis in China growing as officials there confirm more than a dozen new cases of the coronavirus. Here at home, concern growing as well. The CDC screening airline passengers coming into the U.S. from the city of Wuhan, where that virus was first reported.
They told us to stay in the plane for like a couple more minutes, and then we went down to take the temperature, and I gave them the form.
The CDC has deployed 100 health officials to New York's JFK Airport, Los Angeles, and San Francisco International. They'll take passengers' temperatures and check for symptoms like a cough or fever. My colleague, Bob Woodruff, is in Hong Kong, where the virus is also impacting travel.
The fears through all of Asia are growing quickly, and we witnessed it. Passengers from Wuhan are being monitored, tested with infrared thermal imaging cameras, analyzing their temperatures. through their ears or by aiming a device at their foreheads, even kids.
The CDC says the mysterious coronavirus has sickened dozens of people in Asia and is linked to 2 deaths. The CDC says most of those infected with the virus were exposed to live animals. It's still unclear how easily it spreads from person to person. Doctors say it's hard to tell how this virus will behave, but the CDC doesn't want to take any risks, so they're keeping these screenings in place for at least a few more weeks.
Especially alarming how you pointed out they don't know how it spreads from person to person totally yet.
Exactly. And we saw years ago the deadly coronaviruses, SARS and MERS. Health officials don't want a repeat of that.
Still a lot of unanswered questions for sure. Stephanie, thank you. Across the country here at home, protesters showed up by the thousands to support women's rights in New York City. Demonstrators faced freezing temperatures. Hundreds also gathered in our nation's capital and in Los Angeles. This was the 4th annual march of its kind on this day since President Trump's inauguration.
Now to the gun rights rally that has law enforcement on edge. Tight security at the state capitol in Richmond, Virginia, where thousands of Second Amendment supporters and some counter demonstrators are expected tomorrow. All this following the arrests of suspected white nationalists. ABC's Mona Kozar-Abdi is in Richmond with much more. Mona, good morning to you.
And good morning to you, Dan. This morning, the city of Richmond is on edge. Officials have taken extra security measures, including implementing a 4-day gun ban after they say they found credible threats to public safety. Right now, Richmond's normally picturesque Capitol building is surrounded by chain fencing, holding tents, and no parking and road closure signs as pro-gun rights activists gear up for what many are calling an unprecedented show of force. But Governor Ralph Northam has declared a state of emergency after 7 members of the suspected neo-Nazi group, the Base, were arrested this week. Investigators believe they had plans of attending the Virginia rally to start a, quote, racial war. And this morning, the state's top Republican offering a stern warning, saying that any group that plans to attend the rally to spread white supremacy or create civil unrest is unwelcome here. Eva?
We want to turn to that other major story, the winter storm that's happening right now. Impacts being felt in the Northeast with weather alerts in place. ABC's Kaylee Hartung has been following the storm. She has more from Dobbs Ferry, New York. Good morning to you, Kaylee.
Good morning, Eva. The snow is still coming down in northern New England and in the Great Lakes region. More than a foot of snow falling in some areas. This massive storm creating dangerous conditions for millions. Overnight, parts of the country digging their way out of blistering winter storms. In Minnesota, this storm dumping over 16 inches of snow, making the roads there impassable. Multiple cars flipped over, drivers helping this one out of a ditch. Officials say they've responded to more than 550 crashes across the state. In Michigan, vehicles at a standstill. Heavy snow forcing drivers to shovel their way out. Local police trying to help, pushing vehicles with their squad cars. And take a look at these images here. This Delta plane sliding off the taxiway at Philadelphia International Airport. Luckily, no one was hurt. Also in Pennsylvania, hazardous weather causing a multi-vehicle crash, including multiple semi-trucks. And in the Dakotas, powerful winds and blinding snow making for dangerous roads. Watch as this ground blizzard hammers North Dakota, creating life-threatening driving conditions. Here in Dobbs Ferry, just north of New York City, they're accustomed to seeing piles of snow this time of year. That hasn't been the case until this first major winter storm. Now relief that the worst has passed. Guys.
We'll take that. Kaylee Hartung for us. Thank you. Let's get to Greg Dutra from our Chicago station, WLS. He's in for Rob this morning. Greg is accepting all of the blame for the weather that we're suffering here on the East Coast.
Pour it on. Yeah, that's right. And a lot of ice, too, in addition to snow. 5 inches of snow in Erie, Pennsylvania. But this was the big problem before that snow got there. Almost a quarter of an inch of ice slipping and sliding around on the driveway. And this next video here, this is I-80 in New Jersey. I know it looks like I-80 through the Midwest. Blowing and drifting snow. Watch as these cars go underneath the bridge here. Those winds are blowing very hard, and the winds have started to relax. However, there are still lots of watches and alerts up right now, and even some active warnings through coastal Maine. And then what you see through northern New York and then on into Ohio, that is for lake effect snow. You see those bands getting going now as that storm system as a whole lifts off to the north and east. Behind the storm, a lot of cold air. Temperatures will drop below 0 when you factor in the wind. Let's check out your local forecast.
Good morning. Good Sunday morning, Washington. I'm meteorologist Ryan Miller. After an eventful day yesterday, things are going to quiet down. We're going to watch air temperatures throughout the day begin to drop into the 30s. Winds are going to pick up, so wind chills are going to be uncomfortable this afternoon. We can see some flurries this morning with colder air beginning to work into the region. Highs today will be in the 40s, dropping into the 30s this afternoon. And wind chills today, tomorrow, they're going to be bitter in the teens and 20s. Next chance of rain next Saturday.
Getting back to or even above normal here over the next couple of days.
Above normal, I like that.
Yes. Yeah. Nobody ever said that to me when I was in school, but other than that, I like the sound
Very
of above normal.
subpar, but it's fine.
Yes.
Someone's got
average. Average. Janae is here with the story of a guy who used a pair of scissors to save his own life.
Incredible
Really?
story.
Okay.
Yeah, it really is.